Hi again. Let's continue. Uh, so let's continue what we have left, and let's ask what will happen if our worker is working more than 11 hours. Well, if our worker works more than 11 hours, in that case, his income was initially at AE line, and his income and he will get into DE line. So if he doesn't work the number of hours he or she has worked, well, basically, his or her income will decrease. Uh, and the more he works, the higher will be the income effect. Basically, since his or her income has decreased, the income effect will create an incentive for those people who are working more than 11 hours to work longer. Why? Because even though working working one more hour will work less for them, in order to maintain their income level, they need to work more. Uh, this basically means that for the people who are working more than 11 hours, there are two competing effects. I mean, substitution effect will decrease the optimum labor time, while the income effect will increase the optimum labor time. So the how will be exact change is not known. I mean, we don't know it. It depends on the individuals for the individual which effect will be dominant. So the people who are already working little will decrease their labor time even more. People who are working for longer time, they might or might not decrease their labor time. We don't know it. Overall effect, we don't know it, but again, this system will make the people who are working a lot to work less, little work less. The people who are already working more to work more. At least it might make them, some of them, it will make some of them to work more, which might increase the inequality in terms of working time between the people. Of course, this effect might not be the case if we have the effect might be changed if we have a progressive tax rate. Progressive tax rate will mean the high wage earners will have a higher tax rate. Low wage earners will have a lower tax rate, which means for the high wage earners, this L1 will be at a very, let's say, small points. I mean, almost all high wage earners will have this opposing effect. So some high wage earners may work more, some high wage earners may work less as a result of this progressive tax rate. While low wage earners, the tax rate will be little or maybe even zero. So they will see an increase in their income, but they might not see even a significant effect in their wages. I mean, so this wage might directly go up. So all low wage earners might be might start working less in that case, because you don't have any effect in case of wage in terms of wage, but you have an increase in non-labor market income. In that case, you will work definitely less because there is income effect but no substitution effect. And again, you don't enjoy work at all. No one enjoys work in this framework. Uh, so, in case of progressive tax, if we assume the low wage workers are working more, this type of factor will decrease the working time. But if we assume that high wage earners are working more, in that case, it might or might not increase the optimal labor time, average labor time in the economic system. Um, Again, this type of a system might have additional effects. For example, some low wage earners, in order to maintain their productivity, um, not only individually but also intergenerationally, to be able to raise their child, they might need that support. I mean, or increase their productivity to a higher level, they might need that support. So there's a productivity side which we don't see here. The welfare system might actually maintain or increase the productivity of the especially low wage earners. in some cases. What about wealth tax? That kind of a tax doesn't exist in most countries in today's world. But if we have that, in that case, actually, different people have different level of wealth. So this line will be different for different people. Wealth tax will take wealth of the people who are wealthy and give it to the people who are less wealthy. So basically, this initial line will be more equal for the people. So people who have high wealth will work more. People who have low wealth will work less. If people with high wealth, for some reasons, I mean because they might be well, we will expect the people with high wealth to work less anyway. But let's say we live in a society where people that kind of benefits or kind of rewards the people who are working more, and those people are exactly the people who have high wealth. So even though they have high wealth, because they prefer income more than leisure, they might be already working more than the people who have low wealth. So in that case, I mean, lowering their wealth level will encourage them to work even more, and increasing the income level of the low wealth people who might have low wealth because they already prefer to work less. It might encourage them to work even less, basically. But assuming that we live in a society where people with high wealth are working less, and people with low wealth work more, a wealth tax will basically decrease the inequality in working time of the people. And in general, it might also, if majority of people, a large number of people have low wealth and small number of people have high wealth, so in that case, if you low wealth people together collectively work less, this will basically decrease because their number is larger, they affect the average much more. So the average working time in the society will become smaller. Note that the welfare system has also started to be developed starting with 20th century, and that might also be effective in decreasing the labor time in the world, basically. So next we have some data. As you have seen, this is the yearly working time, not weekly, but it might still give us some information. As you have seen, starting with 1950s, basically the working time has decreased, basically. Which might this has also happened in France, especially in France after 1960s. It has decreased drastically. In Singapore, it has decreased also. But starting with 1980s in the United States and 2000s in France and 1990s in Singapore, you see the yearly working time has stayed stable. And this begs a question, actually. What has created that? The fact that you don't have any more organized labor, the fact that you don't have any more that kind of a strong welfare state, because in the US, famously, the welfare state was dismantled, or, well, the neoclassical or mainstream argument was the working time, the average labor time was going down because the productivity in the workplace was increasing. Is that the point? Is the labor productivity not anymore increasing that much, allowing the workplaces to decrease the labor time? Or are workplaces giving extra other types of benefits in addition to the instead of decreasing working time after the productivity increases? Maybe are people not anymore demanding decrease in the working time, because people's preferences might be in a way that the working time of the people might already has hit to a certain limit, and people, after hitting that limit, people might not prefer to work less. They might prefer to work longer than a certain amount of time. Although, of course, you can see that there are also differences within the countries. French people work significantly less than US people. So this stagnation begs a question, and competing theories might have competing views, political views especially. But even though mainstream has a certain dominant view, also when we are talking on non-mainstream views, also competing economic theories might have different explanations for this stagnation. This is an interesting. These graphs are interesting. You can see basically as GDP per hour worked is so wage basically or the benefit people get increases, you see a decrease in working time basically. So income effect is dominant, you might say. If people earn more, they work less basically. And another interesting fact is inequality increases the annual working time. So inequality that's also begs a question. I mean, how to explain it is a big question, but I will leave the question to you. I won't answer that question. So this is Turkey. Weekly working time. As you see, I mean, people work less than 40 hours. That's 8-hour day. Are small number of people. Small number of workforce. Basically, this percentage maybe 10-20%. And a significant percentage actually work more than 40 hours, and even, for example, 10% works more than 70 hours per week, which is, if you take the 5-hour day, 8-hour day, in that case, it is, I believe, around between if you have 8-hour day, 5-week day week. So if you work just 5 days for a week, that means 14 hours. Or if you work every day, in that case, that's 10 hours. Even if you work 10 every day, it is more than 8 hours per day. So again, an interesting graph. You might ask questions. Why this is this way in Turkey? I mean, the standard working time, the typical standard working time doesn't work here in Turkey. This is TRNC, and this also is desired working time and the actual working time. As you see, mostly in TRNC it is constant. It's around 50, more than standard working time on average, but it's close to Turkey also, basically. And usually people are willing to work less, so they don't get their desired working time. So kind of, even though it is closer for the tertiary. So the more education you got, the closer you got usually to the desired working time. Although when you go to secondary, your difference a little bit decreases, but in general you can say that, I mean, this proportionality, in general, education brings your labor time closer to the desired amount, but it's not a purely a choice for any level, for any kind of worker in Cyprus, I mean, as you have seen in the main model. And these are the worlds, different countries in the world. Turkey and Colombia, Mexico have highest amount. 40-hour labor day. I mean, South Africa, Bulgaria, and if you go down, for example, in Netherlands, it's 30 hours. I mean, it's even lower than the 40 hours a day. In Germany, I don't know why they put Germany here, but Germany is also 30 hours. Denmark, Norway, Switzerland, you can also see. You can see the other countries. Cyprus is here, but it is southern Cyprus, basically. So now we can start with the questions, basically. Let me do the first question. Assume in 2014, general non-labor market income in USA has risen. How would be expected effect of this trend on average number of hours a typical worker spends at work? If non-labor market market income has increased, this has a clear negative effect. Well, as you can see here. Anyway, we will continue in the next part. See you in the next part.